A few weeks ago, I recorded a Bromley rebuild, calling them the worst team in England, but that's not necessarily true, as after 10 games of the current footballing season, Morecambe are the worst, rooted to the bottom of the English Football League. And not long ago, they were in League One, the third tier, and suffered relegation, which hit them financially. So far, with no wins, I'm gonna have to step in, trying to turn the lowest team in England into the best one. As yes, people, like you just saw, Mr. Morecambe, I'm in the big red suit, ready to deliver like Santa Claus. A man I'm inspiring to be, of course, delivering on his promise, as we've got a promise to get this team to the Champions League. And it's not very good, is it? I mean, it's not the lowest rated in the game. We've got the likes of Luke Hendry, ex-Grimsby, and Williams. Only on loan for 6 months, but what a guy from Liverpool, 23. I think he could be a star here. There's no strict rules for this rebuild, but we do have one challenge. And that is that we must stick to no more than 3 free agents per season. Makes this quite difficult as the budget's less than $1 million, so this first season, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. As I'm thinking tactic, I don't want to mess these players around. They're probably not good enough to just follow a custom tactic. Counter-attacking football, probably with no coaches, as I want to put my money into the youth academy first season. As this is currently it, and we have a Brazilian down in League 2, Fabio Martins, 17, 88 potential. I've promoted him, but I'm gonna have to rely on this scout, the one-star Skinner, just going to England. And I was thinking I would sell players just to make a bit of money, but we have no one we can really sell. Our best players are 31 and 30 in George Ray. Oh my days, right. This is going to be a struggle because we can't even really coach these players. And I'm sorry to say I've got to go straight to them free agents. Now, there is a rule stopping me going crazy, but we definitely do need some. Not many though, not many, because I do want to cook up that academy, and obviously these wages will be high for Jamal Lewis especially. Way too good for this level, and I believe it's Sao Paulo in real life. But he's obviously not enjoyed it, willing to join Morecambe. And he's took a bit of a pay cut, joining the Shrimps on a long-term deal. And I was gonna say alongside these two, the Icelandic striker and Marshall, but the wages for these two players, they're extremely too high for their evaluation. They're only 16-year-olds, and we've only got 2-2-OK left. And I think I'd rather put that money into our own youth players. So use our academy, but at the same time not rely upon it. Cause Humphrey and Cartwright aren't the best players, but I am going to promote them and hopefully get them out on loan. Okay, and I failed heavy on that part because, yes, Cartwright is in the academy, but he has just turned 16. So he couldn't get promoted, but could we get promoted? As speaking of promoting, I'm going to promote the channel here because we are on a race for 50k before January. It's very, very slim to happen, but the channel's growing more than ever. So please help us try and complete almost the impossible. Leave a like as well on the video and leave a like for this team. Wow. It has got better. I've changed players around. We've got a 71 in the team. Lewis, our only signing, and no wonder he's cost all our bloody money. And yeah, it is quite decent. I mean, did we really need a left back? Because I've just realised we've got another Lewis, another left back called Lewis. Funny that, and I didn't mean it, as we did lose Reece Williams. It looks like Lewis our best player, then our goalkeeper. That's not a bad thing. But one thing that is a bad thing, we have not got a good striker, as you can see by those ratings. As who was our top scorer? Charlie Brown. Okay, he's done pretty decent with 14. Hope with 10. But still he's a 59 rated. We can't rely on him, and we can't rely on loan deals. A 17th in the league? That's much better than I actually expected. I expected bottom 2, as we were beaten by Tranmere. I'll go on to them in a second, and beaten by Lincoln in the other cup. Then the BSM trophy got so unlucky with Birmingham, a team that should be unbeatable. They've spent over £20 million in League One, as this man I want to speak on, Fabio Martins, 18. 16 and already at a 60 overall. And Season 2's already unexpected. I don't know what to expect from us, but when you look at the side, Arsenal have won the Champions League. That's genuinely shocking, as now Martin's a 61, so he goes straight into the team, as we do need some midfielders alongside that striker, because Charlie Brown I thought would be quick training there. 110 weeks as a false 9, are you kidding me? And £2 million, well, at least our money has gone up this season, and only one free agent last year means we can go again. Again, I'm not going to go crazy with them, as a player that was in our league last year, Jonathan Lecco, released from MK Dons, 90 pace, decent striker. He's going to be our first player and potentially the only free agent. As I'm planning with the money we have to maybe sack our one-star scout, or not sack him, that'll cost money, but get a better scout, Patrick Nicholson. He's 3-star, 2-star, not great, but better than what we have. Sending him to his home nation of Scotland, which I usually do, but when we do go up the leagues, I will go scout other countries outside of the UK. Now, I was looking for midfielders, but I checked transfer list of players. Jake Young fits the bill. 23-year-old, 66 rated, from the league above, running out of contract, and could be as cheap as 600k. So I am going to test them waters. I would love to maybe change formation. Oh my days, that's acceptable. That would be a brilliant deal. We could change to 2 strikers then, as Ben Tollett leaves for a bit of money and allows us to pay the wage of Jake Young, the young striker. So now we go 4-4-2, and that is a lot better. We'll get the strikers in with a high defensive approach, because I feel like we need to play more with the strikers. As now just a midfielder needed, if we could squeeze one through. As one in our academy, but he's not too great in Nathan Neal. And same with Oliver McPherson, I hope I've said that name right. He's not too great at the moment, but I could see him staying here a long time. So unfortunately not ready, so our final signing is Gary O'Neill. Not the Wolves manager, but a free agent from Ireland. And I can't lie, right, we are at the end of the season. I am hoping for promotion. There's something at the side there. Celebrate late into the night as Morecambe. You saw that little graphic. I think we've done something special, as O'Neill, that late signing, 65 rated. Yes, he is 31-year-old, and then we've got Young, who's 24, and Lecco, 27, both 69 overall. As by the way, we've got a 75 overall Jamal Lewis. You know, if we do decide to sell him, that is the club stable in their position, as Lecco 23 goals, Young 16, but then also McPherson. He was on loan at Crawley in this division, so we can see his goals, and he's a 60 rated winger. I think there's a bit of potential there, as his team finished 4th, but our team finished 2nd, so no, not a trophy, and no, not a league win. That's actually almost ideal. We are getting automatically promoted, and Grimsby Town 7th. Player football, the team that I support, as we had a decent run in the FA Cup, reaching the 3rd round, and then a 4-3 loss at Exeter. A tough one to take, as then the Carabao beaten by the Saints Southampton. Now that's not a tough one to take. Doing pretty decent against a Premier League / Championship club, as then in the BSM, 3-2 to Stockport. We did get through again, and hey, everybody signed up to a contract, and that team excites me, as another change that I did make, Harry Lewis at right back, because I did spot that 5-star weak foot. I think this is a crucial change, and I think it probably will help us. I'm going to change his position, and it doesn't affect his rating, because he might need to go back on the left if we sell Jamal Lewis. And season number 3, we are in League One, the 3rd tier, with 2 million to spend, and I don't think that's good enough, so I think it's going to happen. We've got them loan listed players, a few transfer listed players, including Jamal Lewis, who we've got to cash in on, as I think the players to survive this year is a left back to replace him, centre back, and left mid. Martin's for the loan list. He's 19, 63 rated. I don't want that potential slipping, so I think he's got to revive somewhere else. As we look somewhere else, sending our scout to Northern Ireland while still in the lower English leagues, looking for the next Jamal Lewis. I'd love to try and make one instead of sign one, as speaking of signings, these 2 players here, now they're not the best requirements. We don't need a striker, but Gatlin O'Donkor, he is on the loan list, and I think we could do with him in the club. Then also Dylan Duffy. Not a fan because he's at Lincoln, but if we can get him for that lower band, I think that's a good signing. As this is what I was waiting for. Not actually an incoming, but an outgoing Jamal Lewis. A bid of 6.6 million, which I'm gonna be cheeky with, asking for 7.1. I'm receiving 7.1. That is a very risky move completed. So after that, we can start our spending. But the first signing, of course, on a cheap, is that winger, Duffy. Very happy with Dylan, although he has come from Lincoln. And I'm happy with Odonkor because he's come in on loan. An extremely good start, just made even better with an extra 7 million for contracts and coaches. And also signings, as this first guy's called Hamilton, a youngster from Notts County, as that's going to be our philosophy. Signing youngster after youngster in David Okabuge. A very fancy name, as then we've got Armando Dobra, a key player in real life for Chesterfield in the league below, as we're not forgetting about free agents, just the one in Lucas Jensen. Can't pass up on his talent, as there's only one talent we need now, and that is to replace Burgundoy with another young keeper. As 3 million on the dot will do the job, and no, not with the academy. We are still trusting the academy, but we're going to sign a youngster who's good. Or not just good, should I say? The best in Jonathan Best from Doncaster in our division. As this feels weird, Morecambe going from money troubles to money spending for fun, signing from a rival team. A very surreal feeling, spending that much as our academy. It isn't getting better at all. We got Sloan with a funny haircut. I really love that. I mean, for a 17-year-old kid to have that, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think you'd ever see it. But hey, I can't mention hair. Mine is terrible, as this team is not. We've got some decent ratings. The goalkeeper hasn't been played, because when we go down here, Best already 71. We spent big money on him, and he looks to be repaying it already. Going straight into our squad, as our best player is Jake Young, not looking too young anymore, now 25 years old. Charlie Brown doing okay, Lecco, but I only care about goal scorers, as McAdam is the highest, the midfielder with 13. Oh god, can't be a good thing. 12th in the division. I mean, it's not the worst after getting promoted, but we usually like to skip through the bottom two tiers. League One and League Two, that is. We took 3 years already, and we're still not in the Championship. We've got to speed up this process. As any good cup runs for a bit of money, we did beat Bristol Rovers in a round right there, and the next round, Chelsea, round 3 of the FA Cup defeat. Then round 1 defeat in the Carabao, Colchester United, and Grimsby in the BSM trophy, which honestly I can't feel bad about at all. I do support that club as money. 1 million left over. If we get a budget of 2 million, I am going to flip. Because we've saved money, we shouldn't lose it, as the team I'm very happy with. I've got to be honest, we only lose one player, and that of course the lone boy Odonkor. And that's back down to earth. I thought it might be a little bit more. £3 million? At least we've carried our $1 million over. As where do we need to strengthen? In the first team, you know what? I just feel if we leave the first team, it will gradually just grow better. Season of youth, methinks, as McPherson, he was on loan last year, a 66 rating, and just got promoted with Portsmouth, I believe. We've got Fabio Martins, probably desperate for a loan deal now. Lucas Jensen's still quite young. And also Jonathan Best. The best out of the lot, as with our academy, we've got to send it to the best country. Brazil, we're going again, just to find a really good player. As do we bring this man back this season, Catalin Odonkor. He did get 9 goals, but for that price tag, I think we'll give it a pass. I think in a season where growing our youth, we've probably just got to sign youth as well. So Antonio Jimenez, you're up. You're coming from Wimbledon. Or no, you're not, because they reject it. They reject 1.5 million. Our budget is just too low. We can't sign anybody decent. If we are fighting for promotion, as look at the contracts running out as well, we're going to struggle for money. I hate that this is happening to us, as it's a free agent season again. But actually, no, I'm stopping that. We're only signing one free agent. I've decided I'm not going to go crazy with them. And besides, Joel Collier, a very low-rated player, 64 as a backup striker. It's not like we're buying the best players or getting the best players from free agents. I'm always going to aim for them to not be first teamers from now on, especially. If we want a good first teamer, we're going to have to buy a good one, as another young player for the bench, Jake Richards, could be handy. O'Neill getting no younger in the middle, so this guy can replace him. So we've got some good midfield options. We've of course got our backup striker in, leaving the rest of the money in this quick season to go towards coaches and of course them contracts, which we desperately need to sort out. Yeah, nothing much to report on. I thought we'd be okay for this season. It's proving that we're okay. We've got some brilliant ratings in League One. 77 Young, 77 Brown. They're two generic names. And then best, getting to be the best, potential to be special, which I actually never noticed. And we've got Martins doing well in the league above at Plymouth Argyle, I believe, as a top scorer for us. Armando Dobra, followed by Lecco, followed by Young, and then Collier, our backup. He hasn't done too bad with his rating. Not too bad of a season, which we've flown through with these ratings. Now, game time's a bit all over the place. Lecco, Jensen, and Hamilton not getting much game time, but still, we can move with this, as I've just noticed this youth player, McPherson, doing very well. In fact, so well, he's still not trained as a right mid. I don't get it, and plus he's left-footed. Maybe I'd change him to a left midfielder. Try him on the left, as come on, we're in season 4. We need to get promoted, and I'm surprised it's 5th place. We should be flying near the top. We've got a 76 rated keeper, and round 4 of the FA Cup, a 1-0 defeat to Brighton. A 2-1 defeat in round 1 of the Carabao, though. Oh my days, and a finale loss in the BSM trophy. We never win that competition, but we did get revenge on Oxford in a humiliating fashion. 6-1 in one leg. Caesars go to the final against Portsmouth, as I just clicked the wrong button. It's a win in the final. Add that trophy to the cabinet. Morecambe are in the championship. With this team, of course, I've got to go and have another look at it, as we've got some original players like Taylor, Lewis and Brown, but I am going to keep on building here as we need survival next year. Or are we just surviving? I mean, £5 million probably says yes to that claim. I don't see us staying up with that much. Still a League One budget, if you ask me. Personally, I don't think we can improve that team with the money. Maybe centre-back, or maybe a midfielder. Gary O'Neill is now 33. Jensen, though 21, just need a younger player alongside him, as maybe he can come through the academy. We had 0 luck with it last year, so I'm going to stay in Europe, and if looking for a midfielder, it's got to be Spain. Let's try and make the next Iniesta, or actually, could we find one? Because we can scout the Spanish leagues, the championship we can sign elsewhere. Not just be tied down to free agent signings and English signings, we can go to Spain for a Swede in Carlson. Centre-back option, left-footed as well is key, because he's very young as well, so he can replace Taylor, our current left-sider. And as soon as I talk about replacing Hamilton, here come the bids for him. 4.4 million. Could allow someone better. So I'm selling him out the club and I'm going to invest our money elsewhere. Yes, I'm going to pull out on that Carlson deal. I think we can get better. As this guy, Cortez, was actually out of our budget, but now 6.5 million. We probably can afford him. Oh my days, but they say no, and I was willing to go to 8 million. So next up, we'll get Carlson back on the phone right away. Sorry, my friend. I swear you was always the first option. Definitely didn't try and sign someone 10 times better than you. As look at the look on his face, you can see he's fuming with those eyebrows. He knows we tried to sign someone else and he won't let us forget about it. As let's not forget about the budget, because it was higher, leaving 7 million, and we do probably need some bench players alongside that centre mid. As here he is, the new signing, Peralta, for the midfield. But once he's walked through the door, I can smell something. Another signing. As not one midfielder, but 2 coming into the club, as we've just took a trip up to Scotland to bring in Pontus Darboe. Gary O'Neill replaced, and we can swap them around for their weaker foots, as there we go, the right side, Darboe and Jensen. Peralta only on the bench, alongside O'Neill, some decent centre-backs, a decent backup striker, and 2 very good youth players. Completely forgot about Martins. He came back from his loan in good faith, as I don't have faith in the academy. 0 players really found. Yes, I did get quite a few, but they were terrible, so I'm not promoting them, as we do have a player that's a youth player not from the team or from the academy. Jonathan Best, 21, 83 rated. With Martins one of the default youth players, and Young almost an 80 joining Brown, as this team has potential. Look at the goals we've got. We've got Young scoring 18, Dobra 13. Now that does concern me, because it means our other left mid hasn't played. McPherson, who's 72, but still there's a little bit of growth in there, as I did last minute put Martins in the team next to Darbo, who hasn't really grown. It's played Peralta a bit weirdly, because his rating has gone up. And that's maybe a Prem side. Again though, all I wanted to do was survive with some difficult teams, but most of the difficult teams finish above us, and then we're top of the pile. The pile being the rest of the team's 5th place. Good work. As same can't be said for the FA Cup, losing to Cardiff. Then losing to Salford on a penalty shootout, scoring 1, but no need for penalties in the Championship playoffs. Again like last year, a second leg hammering at Leeds United. Last year it was Oxford, as this year it's a hammering in the final. Morecambe 4-1 winners over Leicester City means we go to the Premier League straight through the Championship. Where have the last 2 seasons gone? Honestly, just flown by, and we've flown up the leagues. 2 back-to-back promotions, growing a youthful team, as we still have OGs in here. Brown, Lewis and Taylor all started at the club. But I'm afraid if we want to survive, we need to get some better players in, because our bench players are around here. They're 68 to 72 rated. Not good enough, need another striker, as Leko's hit 30 and Jake Young 27. This squad's starting to age. Or half of it started to age. It's only 28 million. Right, we've flown up the leagues too fast, because that budget is horrendous. And bids flying in for players, which to be fair are first teamers, but Lewis 17 million. He's already 29. I don't want to be a selling club, as now Carlson 24 million. Above that, Best in a bid of 44.3, plus Jonathan David, a decent striker, but he's 29. I'd sold my keeper last time when we did rebuild Bromley, so I am going to reject for him. I actually want to keep our best player, because why just sell him? If we go down, his evaluation will go up. Yeah, I'm not taking that risk. I'm instead gonna sell some aging players, replace them with younger players, maybe 3 or 4 ratings below. As watch this, we've made 17 million from Fulham on Adam Lewis, and then found Hika, who's 1 rating lower and half the price almost. Oh, but he's on loan. This is not going to go well for us, right? We've got to look elsewhere for a right back. Right back is #1 priority. As Antoine, can we get him, the double-named hero? I'm hoping so, but first we've signed a backup in Srdanovic. As I was so confident in getting him, I actually signed his backup man first. As alongside him, Brian De Vries, another backup striker, and Rivas, a defender playing European football with Bodo Glimt. As only 1 first-team improvement, that's Antoine in the defence, but the bench, I've got to say, looks better. A midfielder light, I'm pretty sure. And that's where this man comes in. Nati, another Danish man, probably dropping Dabo to the bench. But I can't believe what I just saw. As when I was looking for a midfielder, I decided to go against it, but maybe I could come back to him, a failed Kobe Mainu. I genuinely could not believe it when I saw his rating, as I can't believe Jonathan Best's. It does say he is transfer listed. That's because last season I just wanted to test the waters a little bit, but now he comes off the transfer list and honestly is amazing. We're gonna try and keep him here as our top scorer from day one. Fabio Martins, the Brazilian. He has been playing on the left-hand side. Young getting a few goals in 14, and then Leko slowing down at his age. And is that enough goals to stay in the Premier League? Oh, it is. We were under no pressure, 11 points safe. And that came out a little bit weird, but yes, easily safe, with Everton finishing below us, and of course holding Kobe Mainu, who I keep thinking I may have to pay a visit to, as round 5 of the FA Cup, a 2-0 loss to Cardiff. At home, that's quite disappointing, as a 1-0 defeat to Sheffield Wednesday takes us out of the Cups in rather embarrassing fashion. As another possibly embarrassing bit, definitely not the team is great. The fact our budget might go down, because this year, 28 million. Budgets tend to go down, and I can't believe we've just played with the high line, as I've took that down to a deep one, and also change the formation. You know who's fitting in there. As also, I know I've already asked you guys to subscribe, but liking the video as well really helps push these videos out. I'd appreciate it a bunch if you do just hit that like button, as 1 like equals 1 prayer, with that as our Premier League budget. Terrible money, but hey ho, we know which player we want, and with changing our shape, we probably can sell Jonathan Lecco. As hey, where's our left back? He was nowhere near out of contract. Or maybe he was, but still I'm gonna sign him back up again. Don't think you escaped that quickly, Mr. Quaglio. As oh my days, he actually almost ended up at United. As speaking of United, we want one of their old players as potentially our only signing, but Mainu would still be expensive. So we've got to get rid of some players, and look at that bid for Lecco. I know he's grown quite a bit, but that was a weird bid, as Man United offering Malik Thiaw and almost 100 million. And give us 166. I know you're stupid enough to pay that. Or not. Erik ten Hag saying goodbye. Okay, see ya. And see you later to Lecco as well. We're taking that money. And we're also taking this, as yes, he has left. Would have loved to keep him the entire save, but 151 million from Bournemouth for Jonathan Best, the only club willing to pay the money. As before we spend that sum, welcome Kobe Mainu. He fits straight into this team, leaving maybe a striker and maybe a centre-back, and of course a goalkeeper needed, and we will have a lot of money. Starting with the new keeper called James Beadle. A great deal on him for 25.5 mil, as then our new exciting striker, the 20-year-old Ricky, and big boy Jared Branthwaite, and we've still got a lot of money left. In fact, 36 million. Selling the keeper was the best thing we have ever done in a save, but still, I feel cautious around the next signing, because Mainu's not that high rated. So do we get another CDM, or do we try and replace Brown? 30 years old. I know he's an OG, but I think he needs selling. So I am going to try and transfer list him just to receive as much money as possible. As there he goes to Spurs, giving us around now 60 million. And I'm not going to waste your time or mess about with his replacement, as here comes a winger from Lyon. I believe his name's Keita. Was that his actual name? I didn't catch it. It is, because he's an 85 rated, almost similar to Mainu. This man cost 25 million, this man 46, so there is a little bit of a difference. Mainu has grown hugely. What a revival for his career here at Morecambe, near Manchester. As our best player this season, Branthwaite 86. As top scorer is Ricky, one of the new lads with 32, as this season's going to be a good test. Is loads of decent players better than one good player? Oh my days. Jonathan Dest is a 95. He's a 95 overall. Now, I kind of regret selling him, or do I? Because selling him has given us a team that has got us third in the Premier League. Squeezed into the Champions League at the second time of asking. Now, that's a difficult thing to do. We've not done that much before at all. As any cup luck? Oh, semi-finals of the FA Cup. And semi-finals of the Carabao, losing on penalties. Team must be very good though, as then the Super Cup won by Manchester City. The finalists in the Champions League is Atleti and Ajax. So surely we should fancy ourselves and hopefully get a big budget to still improve that team and also maybe change the tactics. As I've lost track of seasons, but I'm not losing track of our tactics. Now, I'm going to change tiki-taka. I think I'm done with counter-attacking. We are too good for that, as I'm looking at left-back, centre-mid, right-back, or even centre-back, because Carlson, struggling. He's the left footer, change to the right-hand side, so it doesn't work, as 8 87 million works for our budget, as we do have a lot of players running out of contracts very soon, including Jake Young still here, and Dobra, he's on the bench. Maybe can sell him, as we've got McPherson, or maybe the opposite way around, keep the 80 rated for the Champs League, because we'll need to stack our bench, probably starting with another goalkeeper, and apart from that, really, we look pretty damn solid. So we'll move on that straight away with Alberto Flores and Christian back, our left back, for the bench, as I'm relatively comfortable there with that bench. It's not the best of benches, but it's good enough because when we sign a player to this first team, with the 55 million we have to buy a first teamer, the player that is replaced will also move on to that bench. And I'm sorry to say I'm thinking about breaking up the Danish duo, as Jensen, 24, I don't know. I just don't fancy it. It's either he gets replaced or we do bring in that centre-back. And to be fair, looking at the age and also looking at the prices, centre-back is the option. And we should get him for fairly cheap, giving us money to put onto contracts and maybe back into the academy. Haven't touched it in a while, as they, fairly enough, want 38.5. And I'll give them 38.5. At least we've got another player right here. And that makes me feel confident on the right-hand side of defence now, with a right footer in the right position, and I just spoke on the academy. But the more I look at our budget, 13 million, if we keep that spare and fail next season, at least we'll have money to fall back on. And look how much he's grown. Beautiful De Winter, grown by 0. 0, what a season. I thought it was going to be brilliant for us. As also, I see you, Dobra, so we have lost one of our players, and I believe it is Martins. Another one of those release clauses that are so hard to spot. And look at that, he's left the club to go to 90 rated, 112 million. Did we receive that ourselves? We started with 13 and no, about 99 million. So it's still not bad money-wise, or no, it would have been 89 million, which isn't what he's worth. And I'm realizing I have made a mistake right here. We can't be in the UCL final because I've simmed towards the final day, putting us into the UCL next year in 4th, and we didn't win the league, 13 points off Man United, despite having good players. And Nottingham Forest doing very well this year. They beat us in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, big shame. And Aston Villa beat us in the quarterfinals of the Carabao. Will a trophy ever come? As how did we do in the Champions League? Don't think we've won it. And we just finished below Man United in 20th in the league phase, above Atletico Bilbao though, who stole Martin's offers, as it was Milano, or Inter Milan, who beat us in the playoffs, not even reaching the round of 16. And it's a bit of a horrendous season, if I'm honest. We got quite a few 88 ratings, and where is he? There he is. Carlson, of course he's done good. When we bring this man in to replace him, he just somehow gets better at right centre-back, which he wasn't very good at last year. And Ricky with 30 goals. At least he's doing very well, and only 23 with an Italian call-up, and he's back up on the bench. I couldn't believe when I saw it was still young. Not a young, an old young, a 30-year-old young now, and the bench, overall, still could do with improvements. And shall we discuss this man? A 31-year-old Dobra. He wasn't too great at the start, or started even at the club. Signed from Chesterfield, and I believe got over 10 goals last season, as I see an injury to Mino. 7 days until fit. As it's a good jobber at the start of the season, isn't it? 155 million. So only a budget of 45 million when we was competing in the Champions League. As we made 102 by selling Martins. As yes, I am going for a right mid. I do know Dobra's done well, but we need and can afford better at the moment, as Minter should play over him, but also share game time. So first and foremost, I am going to bring him in. And then on the other hand, sell Peralta, our bench midfielder. As like I said last year, I was going to break up the midfield trio or duo of the Danish, but now I don't know. Maybe just a backup one, as that's the only position we really need on the bench to sign for. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And could it be our final ever signing. The team looking fairly good now as it is, but Lennon Miller for 50.5 is too good to refuse upon. But I think the wage, I don't think that's going to be affordable. Nope, not affordable. We're going to have to look elsewhere. So instead, going cheaper with this Lewis Skelly guy? What's his bloody name? Yes, Lewis Skelly. I actually got it right. I was also thinking a left back with the rest of the 37 million. But instead, I'm going to stay on this contract page and not just sign the players up. I'm going to go in detail of what their contracts entail to make sure none of them, like Carlson, have a bloody release clause. I mean, look at that team. We have only simmed a season on. The players that we've been signing have been incredible. Look at it! 90 rated Ricky, he only came as an 82 rated, then Cater is a 90, Beadle is a 90. As even saying the letter B's just got me thinking about John Best. He's 98 rated at Bournemouth. Madness! We created a monster there, as I haven't finished the Prem season, so it's all up for grabs. Just finished before the UCL final. Chelsea could catch us. I think, yeah, Arsenal are out of the race. And then Bournemouth, you can see Jonathan Best carrying. If they've won something, Bournemouth, which they haven't done with the FA Cup, he could surely get a Ballon d'Or, as Arsenal beat us in the FA Cup. Now I feel bad for wearing their kit, as then in the Carabao Cup it is another quarter-final defeat. Aston Villa 3-1. And here's the Champions League, where we finish second and do get through, as I'm just realising again, Bournemouth, what are they doing here? Hard carry by Best. I mean, they've even got through the round of 16. We've got through the round of 16, but they did it the harder way. We got Club Brugge, and then we beat RB Leipzig, and Bournemouth beat Juve. I can't stop watching Bournemouth. He's got to win the Ballon d'Or, but maybe not, because Beadle and us put a stop to it. His old team beating them. And also, that's us in the final. How can we not deep that, really? We've got Real Madrid in the final of the UCL and Leeds in the final game of the Premier League season. If we do win this game, that is a Premier League title. But one thing I did notice, and I don't think it counts for this competition, Carlson did get suspended, but you can see right there, no red card. So think we can still use him, as the final thing to check is if we do have goal scorers, and we definitely do. As this is the third time on the channel taking a club all the way from League 2 of England to, of course, the final of the Champions League. They've got Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, the likes, and a pass through the middle there. Jensen is through. Could it be one? Oh my days. Expected the net to bustle. As you can see, I've got the wind monitor on. Maybe that's why he missed. Maybe the wind blew it over. As here comes Kylian Mbappe with a shot, trying to reply. And Branthwaite picked up a yellow as Minte sprinters done him bad. A shot from Kylian Mbappe, well wide of the mark. They should have punished us right there as Minte, oh my days, defenders dived in. If we could just cross that to Ricky, oh my days, how has that gone in? Ricky with maybe one of the best goals we will see all year round on this channel. I'm still in disbelief. Look at this for a shot. Jakub Minte with the cross in on the spin with the bicycle, a 0.24 expected, and bang off the crossbar. Oh my days. I'm going to watch that goal very much over and over again. That's if we win the game, of course, as Jude Bellingham trying to get a shot in. Is that going to be a penalty? I think it may be. We've scored the goal of the century, and then a brilliant right back just goes and does a stupid tackle. Can we actually catch a break here? Nope, it is a penalty, and it's going to be Rodrigo. Saved by the keeper, and Bellingham can't control it. What a let-off, man, as Jude Bellingham before halftime again. Real Madrid have been on top with shots, but not with possession. Seems they're wasting them a little bit, as Ricky, could he turn provider here? We've stole the ball up the field. Jensen, the keeper didn't come. Should have been 1-1, and then the player we've tried to replace quite a while, Jensen, comes up and scores. Now I feel quite bad for him. An outcast in the team, but then pops up in the UCL final to double our lead against Real Madrid, and the keeper, what was he doing? All we've got to do now is keep them out, and Minu. What a tackle on Mbappe, as now we've won the ball with Keita. Look at the gap in the defence right here. It is Ricky through on goal. Jensen over the top, and it's Jakub Minte running behind. Minte from range. Good save by the keeper. And all we need here is a corner ball goal to kill the game off. No. Really needed that 3-0. Needed that comfort blanket, as this isn't from the header, of course. This is a different corner in the game, and left free for Carlson. What do we have to do for a third goal against Madrid? Look how awful that pass was in the middle, and Minte looking for Ricky. Hang on, but Ricky's putting up a fight here with Van der Veen. Mickey versus Ricky, and Ricky comes out on top and slides it in the bottom bins. Our striker grabs his brace. And what a move it was signing him. Yes, we lost a 98 rated, but we gained Ricky. As not long after that, the final whistle makes the stadium erupt, and Morecambe, the lowest club in football, have won the biggest trophy. Get it wrapped in bubble wrap and back on the plane to England. That said, I think this final's at Benfica Stadium, which I believe is a stadium we never lose at, as it's going to be Jared Branthwaite lifting the trophy high for Morecambe, the Shrimps. As if you want another big rebuild, comment who down below.